Well, Sebastian, first of all, did you buy Jonathan anything last night for getting that goal in the last second?
No, no. That's funny. Obviously, yeah. No, he had a great game last night, and it really willed this team to the victory there. And obviously, yeah, me and the guys. Obviously, that whole home point streak too. He kept a couple things alive there last night, so big night for him.
What's been going right during this streak?
A lot, to be honest. I was thinking about it today. Can't remember how many. Probably three or four. 6-on-5 goals we have. Just finding ways to win. Whether that's we're getting depth scoring or in the back end. Not letting a lot of goals up right now. I think just overall as a team, we're playing a really connected game, and it's been showing.
And you, if you're not winning, at least you're pulling out the tie, and those all those points are important this time of year, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, Rockford's right behind us, and we got three big games coming up against them. But obviously, every game that we can, get at least a point. Obviously, aiming for two, but if we get one, it's just continuing to, stack it on, and they're big at this time of the year.
You played for Dan Watson the two years, two levels. What has he done this year that's different from what you experienced last year with him?
I think he's brought a lot of the same stuff. Really calm and collected guy in the dressing room. He's got everyone's back in there. Very personable, and I think that kind of builds up the team. Obviously, as much as a coach can, obviously it comes from the room, but he's done a great job of connecting the guys in there, and really showing trust in the guys in there. So I think the guys are kind of taking that and running with it.
Just a matter of he kind of sets the tone, and people have fallen into place then, or
Yeah, for sure. He does a great job at that. I think obviously he does. He tells us what's expected, and if guys are willing to go out there and do it, he's gonna play them.
uh, what do you feel that I know you guys got off to a slow start and things have been going pretty well now. Is that how you kind of see the good times continuing here?
Yeah. Hopefully, obviously, it's the biggest part of the year right now. Hopefully, continuing that momentum into playoffs, and we've, a lot of teams are desperate at this time of the year. So, hockey games are, obviously exciting and stuff like that. But, it's important to get wins during this time of the year. Obviously, Chicago coming in last night. They need almost every win they can get, for a playoff bid there. So, a desperate team coming in, and it's good playing that. So obviously, it's going to come in handy during playoffs.
How has your game evolved or changed from the beginning of the season to now?
A lot of ways. I think overall, my skating, my angles, tracking the puck, just getting comfortable at this level. Playing through screens and tips and stuff like that. That's come a long way. Just really maximizing my size, and really figuring out my game and what I need to do to be successful at this level. So, I think I've done a better job with that, and obviously the confidence has grown, which has helped me play well so far.
I know you struggled during the prospect tournament up in Traverse City. That must seem like about 1,000 years ago now.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Obviously, looking back at that, obviously didn't have the best showing that I wanted to, and I feel like I've almost right that ship, as the year has gone on. But obviously, yeah, like you said, obviously wasn't what I wanted, and put a lot of hard work in since then, and a lot of tweaks and changes here and there, and definitely a better goalie today than I was back then.
How much how much of a factor is just being comfortable at this level play?
Huge. Obviously, especially getting a couple tastes for it last year. Kind of over the summer, kind of getting used to what I should be expecting and stuff like that. And it's just a speed of the game and speed of how I have to play. Obviously, it's a fast game, and guys at this level are executing at a high level. So, I've got to be ready, and I've got to be all over the puck all the time. So, getting that taste for it last year helped me a lot, and definitely as the years gone on, definitely getting more comfortable and confident.
I wanted to ask you, sometimes players, maybe especially goalies, they feel like there's a turning point where it all starts to click for them. Did you have any moments like that this season where you really felt like, okay, my game, I figured this lead out a little bit, and I feel ready now?
Here and there, I think every game has different experiences, and that's going to throw a lot of different stuff your way. So I think obviously the repetition in the game and stuff like that's helped me feel more comfortable. Yeah, I think obviously the team's done a lot better job of limiting odd man rushes and turnovers and stuff like that, which has helped me out a ton. And with that, better numbers and winning good games, and obviously for myself, just feel more comfortable in that. And obviously the confidence goes a huge way.
And your goalie coach Rupe there, how does that relationship, start, from day one, and how's it evolved, and how do you two work off each other, in terms of building up your game?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Obviously I met him in the summer, and kind of right away, set some expectations, and just kind of stuff that we were looking forward to during the season, and stuff to work on. And obviously our relationship's built a long way since then, and feel very comfortable with him, talking to him about whatever it is. So he's a good person, that I can go talk to, and obviously he's got great insight for me, and just trying to learn as much as I can from him.
What were some points of emphasis that he really wanted to work on when you met with him last summer, and he got more familiar with your game?
Some stuff that we were talking about at the beginning of the season. I think it's my post play, screens, and my skating. I think obviously a big guy. If I'm skating well, and if I'm beating the plays on my feet, I'm gonna have a good chance of stopping the puck. So obviously I think that was the most important. And then at this level, obviously everyone's a good goalie, and they got most of the foundations down, but it's a lot of the little stuff now. So he's done a good job of kind of pointing those out, and every single day in our goalie sessions working on that stuff, and it's seemed to translate to success.
Last thing for me is, last year this time, Steve Yzerman really wasn't happy that Grand Rapids had missed the playoffs. He considers it such an important development opportunity. Your little bit of time with Grand Rapids last year, and that culture that was in Toledo. What do you see with this group here that makes this kind of a winning mentality this season?
Yeah, I think that Waddy's done an awesome job of getting those guys in the dressing room, really fight for each other. And I think we do have a really close team, and that helps a long way for sure. There's a lot of guys that we got a bit of a younger team, a lot of rookies here. So obviously, kind of some people's first playoff experience, in North America here. So that's gonna be big for them. And obviously, very competitive group. We obviously don't want to lose. So yeah, winning stuff here, number one, and hardworking group for sure too.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Antti. What do you this team this season? You've been on some pretty good hot streaks lately. Still on a hot streak at home. What has been the difference between now and earlier in the season when you guys were struggling?
I don't know. I was injured when we were struggling pretty much for a long time, and when I came back a little after that, we started winning games, and I think it just maybe took a while for us to obviously new coaches and stuff like that, but we found a way to win those tight games, and we're a pretty tight group, so I think that helps. And yeah, I don't know, kind of took us a while, but I'm happy it turned out.
What kind of tone does Dan Watson set with you guys during practice and in the room and away from games?
I think he has like pretty high expectations for us, both in practice as in games, and I don't know, kind of like he expects us to give our best every day, whether it's practice or game, and that also comes from our leadership group and stuff like that. So yeah.
Is it when everybody's pulling the same rope? I guess does that make it easier to when everybody's increasing their game? Is it easier for you to increase your game as well?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like whenever we're down in a game, we've had a lot of games where we're down like 2, 3, even 4 goals, and we came back for those, and it just shows that whatever happens in a game, we don't quit as a team, and we just keep going, and it's turned out pretty good for us a couple of times. Maybe some luck too, but yeah, I think we pull the same rope, and it helps you as an individual too, that you're not putting your head down during a game, even though it's hard and you're down. So
How has your game improved or developed this season?
well, I think I've gotten adjusted better to the speed of the game here. I think that's because of my skating has improved, I think, and reading the situations and reacting to the faster pace of a game. I think that's gotten a lot better, and overall just being hard on one-on-ones, and also reading the plays before, and that really helps with killing the plays as well. Learning to read those plays. So that's probably two things.
Are you keeping an eye on the University of Denver's progress this year, or Denver University?
Yeah, I have.
What a lot of talk with your teammates about that, or kind of joking back and forth, or side bets or whatever.
Yeah, a little bit. We have a couple of Denver guys, so it's always fun to talk about Denver and our experiences there, and how they're doing right now. So it's been really fun to follow.
Is it the streaks that you've been on, the home streak and the 19, I think it was 18 game point streak you had? What has made that happen? Is it just comfort with each other, or what do you think is the key?
I think it's like I said, pulling the same rope, and everybody's involved, and also maybe some luck here and there. But like I said, turning those games, we had games where we're down a little bit, and we managed to come back, and that really feeds into the team and the team spirit as well. So I think that's the key.
Yes, Roope. I just wanted to start, for you, working with a goalie like Sebastian, how does that relationship begin from the time you start last summer to where you are right now?
Well, working with Sebastian, I feel like it's been great. He's a young, talented athlete, going towards his dreams, and I feel like he's been very open from the start, and I feel like we are getting along well with him.
Mm-hmm. When you first, started to watch his video and get familiar with his game, what strengths did you see in his game immediately?
Well, I feel like how he's using his size. Like, he's a big guy, but still he can use his size, utilize that, and also I feel like his athleticism, it's great for a big body like that. So I think those are the first two things which come to my mind from the start. And obviously he's playing well, like making good reads in the games. But those two things I feel like are the biggest ones when I first started to look at him.
And then I guess to follow to that, what did you see that he needed to work on? Like, what parts have you really emphasized with him this season?
Well, big guys like that, I feel like the movement is the big thing to get to the next level. So that's something we have been working with him a lot, like how he can move efficiently in the game, how he can set up himself to a position that he's able to make those saves every time. And I feel like he has bought that thing well, and he's having good progress with that.
And the relationship between the goalie coach and the goalie is always different, maybe from typical relationship. How do you help him through sort of the pressure, being young, just handling everything that comes with being at this level?
Yeah, well, I feel like those are those daily conversations that we are having, how we respond to success, how we respond to adversity.
Mhm.
And, goalies, they always have the pressure. They learn to handle that when they are pretty young. So, it's just going through things, what has happened, and, keep moving forward after that.
And for you, how is this job different from, working on the European side of the game in Finland, and the different styles of game and the different ice surfaces depending on the league? Yeah, how do you have to change your coaching approach?
Well, not really much.
Mhm.
I feel like coming over here with the national team earlier, I was pretty familiar what kind of game it is in North America. Obviously, the rink is smaller, so you have to be just more ready for the different situations. But other than that, I feel like the coaching, the relationship with the guys, it has been the same. And
Mhm.
for me, it's always like finding the best fit for the guys, how they can perform on their best level every night, and those are the things we are trying to find with the guys every day.
And last thing for me, you were with a top program like Karpat in Finland, and what attracted you to the opportunity to come to Grand Rapids and to work with the Red Wings, franchise?
Well, when I started to see like my guys from Finland coming over here to North America, I felt like that would be something I would like to do too, like work
Yep.
with the best athletes in the world. And last spring or summer, things happened pretty quickly. I've been trying to, you know, um, create relationship with people. I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of guys who have been drafted here to the NHL, and that has been the way that I've been able to create those relationship, and that's been the way for me over to come over here.
Great. Thank you.
Hi, Rupe. What is the biggest improvement that Sebastian has made from the beginning of the season to now?
Well, I feel like it's about movement, about his skating. He has been doing great with that. Also, how he's reading the plays in the game. He's aware of different options, what he's facing. I think those two things are the biggest ones, and also like just growing up, maturity there. How he's handling success, how he's handling adversity, how he's able to keep going forward every day.
What have your impressions been of Dan Watson in this season? I mean, did you know what to expect, or what have you learned from him this season?
Well, first of all, I think Dan he's a great coach. What I've learned from him is how to handle different players, listening how he's figuring out how to handle those guys, and that's a good way for me to learn too, how to handle different situations during the season, and I'll learn from that. So it's been great to work with Dan, and great to learn from him every day.
With Michael Hutchinson, having him as basically co-goalie, how does what sort of influence does he have on the team?
Well, first of all, he's a great guy, experienced goalie. He has seen a lot NHL, AHL. He's a great mentor for Kosa in the room, and great help for me too. Like he has seen the best players in the world on the ice, played against them, and seeing that goalie's perspective, how to play different situations, what you have to think in different plays, and having those small details out there. I love working with him. I feel like we are having great conversation every day, and he's great guy out there.
Is he almost like an assistant for you in that regard, as far as working with Sebastian and kind of being a second sounding board for him?
Yeah, yeah, of course. He has some different thoughts on different situations, and we are having great conversations, us three together out there. So yeah, I would say there are days that he's assistant goalie coach for Costa some days.
Okay, I think I'm all set. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, with Sebastian, what kind of growth have you seen from him from the time he was in Toledo last year, just as a young goalie with a lot of pressure, to where he is now, as a little bit more of a veteran, and somebody who's really started to find his game at this level?
Well, I think with Sebastian just maturing, over the last couple of years, certainly seen that both on and off the ice with his game, and as he's becoming a little bit older too. So I think that's a big part of it. I think another big part of it is just learning how to be a pro every day, and with that, it's responsibilities away from the ice. It's responsibilities when you're not at the arena, away with your coaches, your goalie coaches, what you do on a daily basis. So I think that maturing process for him has been really good. Again, it's his day-to-day attitude, his work ethic. I think that's really important for these young guys. And with Sebastian, it's been since Toledo up until now. It's just been making sure that he understands and is committed to doing what he needs to do on a daily basis to make sure that the process of his development is continuing to grow. And I think we're starting to see that maturing part of it.
That maturation you mentioned, what are some of those more specific elements that go into that, for someone who's 20, 21, and it's also just figuring life out in general beyond hockey?
Yeah, I mean, I think as you turn pro, coming out of junior, you're used to living with billets, and now you got to go find your own apartment. You got to start cooking for yourself. If you have a significant other living with you, that's another dynamic that these young guys have to go through. And again, it's getting a routine. It's making sure it's completely different than the junior hockey or college hockey. It's making sure you're putting the right things in your body, you're eating the right way, you're getting the proper amount of sleep. The workouts are extremely important to make sure you continue to get stronger. So all those types of things off the ice are helping him mature. And then on the ice, it's competing in practice every drill. It's staying out, getting extra work. It's being dedicated to do those types of things. That's that maturation process that we're trying to make sure that he's doing that all the time. And now it becomes habits. It becomes a daily routine for him that he's used to, and he's doing a really, really good job of that.
And, as part of his story is Rope there, coming in as a goalie coach. What have you seen in terms of how they've built that relationship? It's always kind of a unique one between the goalie coach and the goalie.
Well, you nailed it right there. It's all about relationships. The way they communicate, the way that Rope teaches Coast, the way that they interact, whether it's through video. I know Rope is there doing extra things with them away from the ice, outside of video as well. Again, they really have to trust each other. They've got to be able to be open, have to have some clarity, make sure there's honesty within each other, whether it's Coast's game, whether it's how he's being taught, the drills that are being done on the ice. They do have a really, really good relationship. And with Rope's age, he's a young coach, and so I think he can really relate to the way Coast is feeling and what he needs.
As a head coach, how do you like to handle your goalies? Some like to kind of take a hands-off approach, other a little bit more hands-on. Kind of where are you on that spectrum?
Yep, I think communication's huge, and Rope's in charge of, in terms of that. Rope's in charge of Coast and what he needs on a daily basis. I'm more big picture with the goalies, and what else, sort of the routines, the plans. I do want to be kept up to speed with those. All I ask my goalies is give us a chance to win every game. Outside of that, the details, I never played the position. I don't know all the ins and outs, and I'll be the first guy to admit that. But again, I want to make sure that they feel like they're part of a team. I think sometimes goalies can feel like they're on their own island, not part of the team. We want to make sure they're part of the team. The guys respect them and trust them. I think that's how you get teams playing good in front of them. And, we've done a really good job of that. But for the most part, it's that communication, the trust relationship between myself, Rope, Sebastian, Hutch as well. just making sure we're all on the same page, but also I'm not going to interfere with how they're going about their daily business unless I need to.
And last thing for me, what do you see in Rope that makes him, a really successful goalie coach? He came over from a great program over in Finland. Now it's having, a good impact here as well.
Well, he's a smart guy and he's a worker. Two high qualities, I think, that if you want to be a successful coach, you need. And he sees the game extremely well. He's dialed into whether it's Sebastian, whether it's Hutch, like what they need. They're different points in their career. And I think he does a good job dealing with each individual and then them together as a tandem. So, I love having him here. I think it's been really good for our goalies, our team, our staff. And again, it's just that work ethic, that dedication he puts into his craft.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
You've picked up a couple of players on amateur tryouts, Mr. Finney and Mr. Johannes. So what do you expect from them at this point of the season?
Well, you know what, with Emmett, he's a draft pick and we want to make sure he comes in and sees what the American League's all about. Show him what pro life is all about. If you can get these kids a head start into what's expected, maybe what they need to go and work on in this summer so that they're prepared for pro hockey life. I think it's a right step in the right direction for their development. And then with signing Johannes, I think he's a big body. He plays with a lot of energy. He's physical. I think that's something we miss in our lineup right now as we're heading into the stretch of the regular season and into playoffs. So our expectations, he's kind of going to come in, get some minutes, get some games, and see how he does in those aspects of his game. So we're excited about it. We're excited to have fresh faces, sort of new blood in that locker room, in the lineup. It does create some energy. See what he has during the games.
With Sebastian, you've coached him the last 2 years. What has been the biggest development, the biggest improvement, I guess, in his game between maybe the beginning of last season and now?
Well, I think for me personally, the biggest thing that I love to see is his consistency in his routine on a daily basis. He doesn't waver from it right now. He's seeing the fruits of the labor. It's hard work. It's not easy. You have to want to do it, and he's doing it. It's every morning he steps in that office looking for Rope, for video, for vision training, he's in the gym, and I think from starting last year in Toledo until we sit here right now, really impressed with his dedication to his daily routine.
And as far as on the ice, from beginning of this season till now, he's had all that success. What has been the biggest improvement in his game overall?
Well, it's competing. It's competing around the net. There's, today's game, all the goals are scored in tight. And I really think he does a good job battling around his crease, making himself bigger. I think at times he was making himself smaller in the past. Now he's got himself, so he looks bigger in the net. And he's stopping those pucks, and that's what we need. We need those hard saves. We know he's big. We know he has long limbs, and he's made those big saves before. But now everything in tight, I feel like he's covering them. Pucks are sticking to him, and he's just competing around that crease.
So he's kind of grown into his body mentally, and as far as adjusting his game.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think so. There's always, these young guys, they have deficiencies they need to work on. I think we've identified those as a staff. Rope certainly has, and as an organization, and he's put in the work to make sure those deficiencies are closing that gap. And what he's good at, he's still being good at. And I really do think that his progress is because of the daily routines that he has, both on and off the ice.
And Antti Tuomisto, tell me about his season. How has he improved over the year?
Well, I think with Antti, the first thing that steps out is, and I can point out, his puck moving ability. He sees the ice extremely well. He's got good vision. He's got good poise and patience with the puck, and he can make those plays under pressure. And as a defenseman, we really like those attributes from him. I think his game steadily improved. That's why he's basically in the lineup every single night. He's on a power play. He's playing against teams' top lines at times. So it's a steady growth. I think sometimes the pace can get to him, and that's something he's understanding. We're working on his skating. I think everybody can improve on their skating. So something he needs to work on is that quickness, mobility a little bit, and we're making sure that we focus on that, and he focuses on that every day so he can continue to get better.
Over the course of the season, I imagine your emphasis with your team kind of shifts. I mean, what were you concentrating on with your guys at the beginning of the season as opposed to now?
Well, I think the beginning of the season, brand new staff, a lot of new players, really focusing on becoming a team, how we want the culture inside that locker room, what that looks like. So you really focus on that, the structure, how we want the guys to play. So really focusing on that and building relationships, getting to know these guys on a personal level, not just as hockey players. And that was the main focus at the start, with the hopes and belief that you do that. Now we're talking about gearing up for the playoffs, ramping up for the playoffs. We know the structure, we know what's expected. Now it's all about details, habits, and fundamentals. We want to make sure that we're extremely detailed heading into playoffs. Now we're starting to get into and looking at what roles everyone's going to play, what a potential roster could look like. So as a staff, that's what we're focused on. But with the guys, I want to compete, the work ethic and the details to be extremely high heading into playoffs.
So at the beginning of the season, it was kind of a getting to know you thing. I mean, you have to memorize what 23 or 24 players, as opposed to now you know what you're getting and can work on details. And is that why you guys kind of clicked around New Year's?
Yeah, I think so. It takes a little while to build culture. It just doesn't happen overnight. You want to create that foundation, let the players bring it to life, and probably took a little bit longer than maybe what I anticipated. But since Christmas, New Year's, that type of area, I think what was building inside the locker room is now we're seeing it on the ice. There is a relation there. I do believe that if guys are, I don't have to say best friends, but they respect each other, they trust each other, they like coming to work together. It's a fun environment. It does show on the ice, and I give complete credit to our guys for how hard they worked on that. A lot of it happened organically, but then we do have a good leadership group that they took it under their wings to make sure that it continues to grow and the culture gets better. And I think we're seeing what that looks like now on the ice.
Were you briefed as to what the culture was last season before you came in, or is that not really relevant to now?
No, it is. It is. I believe that you making sure that our guys, again, that trust and the respect, and making it a fun, positive learning environment where guys want to come every single day to work. That's what it's all about, and making sure that the guys are here for a bigger reason. You are playing for the Grand Rapids Griffins right now. Yes, everyone has their own personal agendas, but while we're here, you're playing for the Griffins, and making sure that they understand that.
Is that the biggest change from last season?
Great question. I don't fully know exactly what went on last year. I know in Toledo, that's how I operated. I believe in it. I've seen success from it. And I've been part of good teams, even as a player, that was the mentality. And I want to make sure that we instill that here.
Is going into the final stretch of the season here, what sort of things do you want to accomplish before the playoffs begin?
Just playing high level hockey. We don't want to take a step back. We want to make sure we're very competitive. We've got some big games, and we've already seen teams already start to make their playoff push. Teams like Chicago already, they've given us fits over the last 2 games we've played them. And we know right now heading in, we've got 3 games against Rockford. They're chasing us in the standings. So we've got some big games, and we want to make sure that we're competitive, we're detailed, and we don't take steps back. We want to take steps forward. So, as coaches say, you don't have to flip that switch or hit that button to get into playoffs. We're on cruise control. We're rolling. We feel good about ourselves. There's some confidence heading into playoffs, and we don't have to take a whole lot of time to talk about trying to find our game before playoffs happen.
That's what makes April games fun, I imagine, when you've got stuff to play for.
Yeah, exactly. It certainly does, and then teams that clinch so early. I mean, for us, it's, 11, 12 games, but there's still a lot to play for. We're still battling for spots. We're still battling for positions. Guys are still battling to figure out where they're going to be in the lineup come playoff time. So there's always something to work towards, and it keeps our guys, keeps that energy, keeps that. There's nothing that's going to get stale. There's always something we're working and pushing towards.
Okay, I'm all set for right now. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thank you.